what about in the circumstances when we do not control how many options there are? How do you give advice to people who may get paralyzed and unable to make those decisions?
Because they have just too many to choose from?
Yes.
Well, okay, let's say well, first of all, you got to ask yourself, is this a choice worth making? I could always walk away if it's not a choice worth making. If it is a choice that you want to make, but you don't want to invest that much into it, then you either delegate it out, or you go with some simple heuristic, like I'm going to just choose the default. You know, like I go to a restaurant, they have a huge menu. I don't want to, I mean, I got to order something to eat, but I'm not going to invest that much. I just turn to the waiter and say, what's good? And then they'll limit it down to like 2 or 3. I just choose, my rule of thumb is I ask the waiter, and the first option that sounds acceptable, I take it. Because it's not a choice that I want to invest much energy into. I don't really care.
Okay. And you mentioned how that not choosing actually helps you focus on the decisions that you have to make, or those that are important.
Yes, I'm always asking myself, is this a choice worth making? And if it's not, I'm not investing any energy. I just go with the default or let other people decide. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, well, our audience here are meeting planners, and
yes.
Everything that they do, the decisions that they're making for an event are for other people.
Yes.
How does that factor in to what they're deciding to do when they have to make these decisions?
Yeah, so
so many people are affected.
Yeah, so they really need to balance which domains, because a lot of times people making choices for other people are very nervous about making decisions, right? So they'll want to give other people lots and lots of choice to empower them. But they've got to keep in mind that, you know, sometimes people want gifts. You got to balance the gift giving versus the empowering. Gift giving can also be empowering, right? So there's certain things you want to choose for them and make it easier on them. Make that experience simple. And even when you give them choice, you got to make sure it's a few and that the choices are really not just understandable in their own right, but really differentiable so that I can easily, I mean, I don't have to think too much to know which one I would want.
Okay, and just like you said, just society is giving us so many more choices. Conferences are really turning to that, where you can have a customizable experience.
Yes.
So many different
yes.
education sessions happening at the same time.
Yes, that's
How
too
can
much.
a planner limit that for their attendee while still customizing it to their preferences?
Well, what you do is you create the tracks, which a lot of them do. But within track, you really don't give them a lot of choice. Right? So you do find, you know, what within. So let's say you've got a store that's got like I was actually just doing a project this week with candle makers, right? And they have candle makers and scents and sprays and those plug-in things. And you have two kinds of choosers, right? Those who really want it simple, and then those who want the quote exotic. And that's essentially what you're talking about even at a conference, right? Those who want it simple, those who want it exotic, right? So when you create that track, you want to have the simple, and then you create one other track within that track that's meant for the exotic. It actually allows them to create their own combination for those who want it.
Okay, and finally, within that, I loved your scarf example, and just it actually allows people's creativity to shine when they're only given a couple things. Is
yes.
there a way within the limited amount of choices, like you said, to have the avant-garde choice?
Yeah.
Within that, how do you balance within those 6 choices, or whatever your perfect number is, the options that you're giving people? Is there a perfect balance?
So the way I would say you do it is you put the sort of, you know, the range of within normal, the sort of bland to a bit unique, and that's in your main, and then you segregate the ones that are exotic. Because then you need to mentally prepare people that, okay, now I'm going to go to exotic, so that people can either opt in or opt out, and also when they do opt in, they're prepared that this is going to be confusing, and you've primed them to know that they're going to have to do a little work. Because by definition, exotic means work as well. It doesn't just mean cool and exciting, it also means work.